And welcome to the Whatnot Q&A with good golly Miss Holley and Christy today, CHJ. We will be doing a little question answer session, all things Whatnot, all things reselling. Yeah, and we'll go for it. So if she's ready, let's get her to co-host. I nearly blocked you then, Christy. That would be brilliant. We'd have to start all over again. Yes, Holley with an even tip. There she is.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hi. I'm glad
Have you got Harv with you?
Yeah, Harv's here. Yes. He's my little.
Hi, Harv.
It's half term this week, so we're doing it together.
Lovely.
As you
Are
do.
you still nervous?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just talking to me. It's fine.
I know, but it's like, it's the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know what anyone's going to say, and I don't know if I've got the answers prepared. It'll be fine.
It'll be great. Yeah, like Claire said, there is on the side here, there's a swap button if you want Christy on the top because she is talking. So, yeah. Christy, tell us your journey into reselling.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I actually had to Google this because I was like, when did I start reselling? And it was 2016 because that's when Facebook Marketplace started, and that's where I started. So Harvey was 2, and I remembered that Harvey was really, really small. And I just basically started finding random things around the house.
Right.
And popping them on Facebook. And that was kind of where I was like, oh, this is quite good, people coming to the house, etc., and picking things up. It was easy. And I did that for quite a while. And then I also started doing consignment on Facebook.
Right.
So I would sell on Facebook for local people. I'd just go pick up like a few bags of their stuff and then pop it on Facebook Marketplace. And then obviously they would give me a cut to sell their things, and then I'd just go and drop the money back to them. So it was only like a very casual thing, like with people that I knew. And it was word of mouth sort of thing that. So people would tell other people around where I live that I was doing it, and then I'd do it for more people. So I started doing that, and then I stopped doing that for a little while. And then that was when I got into eBay. So eBay was like my main thing for quite a few years.
Yeah. Is it just clothes?
Yes, pretty much. I still, like, even when I'm out now, I'll still look at bric-a-brac and stuff like that because I've got like certain things that I think, oh yeah, I like that sort of thing. But I have tried to streamline it now. That's one thing I've learned with Whatnot. Like, as most of you know, last year I did a bit of absolutely everything. Like, we went from, I don't know, croc charms to toys to 500 pairs of boots, and then now I'm at a point where I'm like, it's just clothes for me now.
Yeah,
it's just clothes and handbags because I like handbags, and then I pop in the odd pair of shoes, but I won't do like those specific shows.
Yeah,
because it just, you've got to focus on what works.
You have to, don't you? Yeah.
Even though, like I said, I do, you guys know about my random shelf. I do occasionally pick up a what have we sold recently? Squishy monkeys. They've gone a bit viral actually, haven't they?
Yeah.
Whatnot viral squishy monkeys. Sold a few last night.
If you don't have any, get them.
Well, no, the monkeys have gone.
Have they got? Okay, well, don't get them.
We're on to whales and dolphins.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all I've got left, I'm afraid. I had the haunted bunny.
Was that the Duracell bunny?
There was the Duracell, but there was also the Sylvanian family that moved on its own. Yesterday I had to stop myself picking up a polar bear holding a cola bottle. Like, it was actually a Coca-Cola one. It was really, like, those sort of things, they just catch my eye, and I think, that could be really funny to sell on Whatnot. But you kind of have to draw a line.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's nothing on the random shelf at the moment. I need to sort my life
refresh
out.
That.
Yeah.
So what's your reasoning for getting into reselling? Was it just easy being at home with Harv, or?
Yeah, so I was on maternity leave, I think, and then that was like when I said when I started just picking up random things from around the house, like you do, just clearing out. And then the consignment thing started. And then, of course, one thing that I mustn't forget is I then started my own furniture business.
What?
So I've always been very like, I've always wanted my own business.
Right.
It's only now that I've realised that it's just going to be clothes. So I did do furniture for a good 3-4 years.
Really?
Yeah. So that was a business called Good as New. I did that kind of with my dad. So it was mainly in Welsh dresses.
Right.
So I would buy the Welsh dresses. We would do them up, upcycle them. But yeah, one day I've got a photo album of all my furniture. I'll have to show you all in a show. But yeah, so I did all sort of like mainly like solid pine furniture, all that sort of thing. Like I said, mainly dresses. We just buy them, spend weeks doing them up, sanding them down, painting them, and then selling them. So that was that for a good few years. Then I had enough of that. Harvey sat here thinking, for God's sake, the things he hasn't done. So yeah, it's definitely clothes all the way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so why do you? I'll ask my 2 questions.
Yeah.
What can we talk about? What something you told me, and I don't know whether you want to share the domino story or not.
Oh yeah,
because I feel like that was really
domino story.
Absolutely. That's really inspirational for me. I think that was a really lovely thing that you said, and it stuck with me. So if you tell us about the domino story.
So basically, it all comes down to the fact that so in terms of looking at the future for me, I'm not I'm not trying to be rich. Do you know what I mean? That's me. I'm not trying to build, which I know a lot of people are, and that's absolutely amazing. You know, build an empire. Do like BZR, for example, going on to his wholesale journey. That is amazing. Mm-hmm. However, for me, it's just a case of I like what I'm doing. I'm not looking to grow it massively. Like followers is lovely, you know, whatnot is amazing. And if that grows, that's great. But I'm not looking to be like have this crazy humongous business. Yeah. I just kind of like it how it is. And I always think as long as I can afford to live, you know, that's what I'm doing. I'm just providing a life for me and half sat here. So that's kind of where I'm at. And the story that Kate's talking about is when I first became a single parent, because I am, in case those of you that didn't know. So it's just me and Harv and Bailey. And when that first happened, I always remember once that, and it's a struggle, and I'm sure people in the chat have been there. Like it's a huge struggle when you find yourself on your own. You're like, it's scary. But if you are in that position, you get there. But yeah, I always remember once that Harvey wanted a Domino's. We live next door to Domino's, and I remember that I couldn't get a Domino's, guys. I couldn't get him a Domino's because I didn't have the money to do that. Do you know what I mean? I was at a point where it was like, oh my God, we can't do that. And I remember saying to Harvey, you know, Mummy can't do it. I can't even afford that. I can't afford a pizza, basically. So now I live by that as long as you can afford a Domino's, you're all right. And it's something I have in my mind. I'll never forget that moment because it was when you're at your low point and you're like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get through this? And yeah, lots of people will have been there. It's tough. And yeah, so now my little motto is as long as we can afford a Domino's, we'll be all right.
Oh, I love that. Such a nice little story.
It is. It's like, it's just something that I'll never forget. You never forget the moments when things are that tough that you're like, oh my God, I can't do that.
And I think people see us on here and they just assume that we've done this, you know, that we've got loads of money and we've done it forever, when really it's like we're real people and we've made this journey for a reason. And I think that's important about reselling.
Yeah, a lot of people have been through it, and it's a tough time. Like, it is a tough time, and that's kind of where my break came in my reselling journey, was when all that happened, because it's your life just is like poof and everything's up in the air. So but now We have a Domino's, don't we? We have a regular Domino's, guys. We're all
Harv,
good.
what's your Domino's order?
What's your Domino's order? Come in the camera, say hi. What's your Domino's order? Go on, tell everyone.
Ham and sweet corn.
Ham. So he has the ham and pineapple, but without the pineapple, and sweet corn instead.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Harv's.
You're anti pineapple on pizza then, Harv, you?
I don't know. You don't mind a bit of pineapple on pizza, do you? Yeah. I don't like pineapple on pizza. But then I love pineapple with gammon. You know when you have ham?
Yeah, like a grilled one, yeah. Yeah, weird.
Anyway.
We digress. So how come you decided to start doing the late night shows? That's my question. And then we will go to questions to everyone else.
So the late night shows are one of them things for me. I kind of just fell into that spot when I started. I thought, yeah, there seems to be a little bit of a gap there. It was a good gap. And it does work. I have since then, there's lots of times where I think, oh God, I'd love to pull that forward. You know, I can't remember, like genuinely can't remember the last time I sat down in the evening and watched a bit of telly. Like it does take that away. However, I tried to pull it forward a bit, and it wasn't as beneficial to me to do that. I have, however, moved it from 9:30 to 9, which I've kind of sneakily done, and I've got it.
Nobody's really noticed. You're fine.
It's there. I've gained back that half an hour. Shout out to the night owls, Mac. Absolutely.
It's always like, I feel like it's a three-way step. I finish to you, then you finish to Mac. It's like we do a little.
It literally does. The only thing that I was talking about it last night is that the people that raid me, I never get to raid them back because I never get to. The only person I ever raid is Mac or Kern because they're the people that are on at that time. So thank you to all the people that raid me all the time when they finish their shows. I appreciate you. I just I don't really have opportunities to raid all these people back, so I will pop in when I can and say hello and stuff. I just saw a question about selling adenola. If I could sell adenola every day, I would sell adenola every day, literally. But I can't get adenola, I'm afraid. So the only time I have adenola is when it's something that I'm parting with.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's so. Yeah, the night's work I do, and I think somebody just said in there. I'm trying to keep up with the few comments, but about people being in bed. You know, and I think that's why it works, because you're chilling, you're in bed. I'm the same. I always on there when I get into bed. I'm always in someone's show. If I have a night off, which does happen sometimes, I love to get into bed and put a show on. I'm like, yes, this is perfect. That's my night. So it just works. And yes, I would love to have more time off in the evenings. Jackie,
I'm always in bed with you. Jackie.
But yeah, it works for me. It works for me, and you've got to do what you've got to do.
Yeah. Just a quick one. Pre-listing. I know this is new for you, and we've talked about it a lot. How do you feel? Is it better?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's definitely so for those whatnot sellers, it's definitely changed my business completely. And it was Kate. Kate was the reason I did that. And I remember saying to you, didn't I, that does it work? Is it worth the time? And Kate was like, yeah, it's definitely worth the time. And it is.
We kind of encourage each other now, don't we? When we
hit
a wall,
it's tough. It's tough. You'll notice that I've got random bits now pre-listed. Like I've even got a few bits in next Saturday's show, because I'm trying to get to that point where I buy it and then I put it in the right show before I then put it away.
Lou saying the CSV, I want to do that because you can put it into like a spreadsheet and then put it in. So it'd be interesting to see how that would be better.
What is CSV?
So it's like Excel.
Oh dear, no, it's not.
Yeah, not her thing. No, okay, so we've had a question from Ross, who's El Reventa on Instagram, if you want to go give him a follow. How do you get the economics of what not working, making enough margin, not making a loss? How did you get it working? So what was that kind of turnaround for you? Where it stop?
I love how
started
Kate
making money.
rephrases it for me in a language that I'll understand. Like yeah. So how do you make it work?
Yeah. How do you
Okay.
not make a loss?
Okay. How do you not make a loss? So I think when you first start Whatnot, it's kind of a bit dumbing it down. Absolutely. If you could do that, guys, that'd be great. I don't need any like margins and spreadsheets. Okay, that's not my vibe. No, I think it's inevitable when you start Whatnot that you've got to take the losses. And you absolutely do. Sometimes I'll talk about my coach trainers. We won't talk about them now. It's
Max
quite sad.
Mara.
I'm Max Mara. That was quite recent though. That wasn't even at the beginning. I mean, it still happens even now, but you do have to take a loss. So if you're at a point where, like, I came from quite, when I first started Whatnot, I had a huge eBay shop and I worked through that stock. And obviously I was taking a loss, but I had a lot of stock in my shop on eBay. So we don't talk about the Tory Birch, Chelsea. We don't talk about the Tory Birch. Yeah, so if you've got a lot of stock to start with, you're good. I can't, I think to start from fresh, if you're not reselling on another platform, that would be really, really tough.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I'm not sure how you would make that work. I think a lot of us do sell on other platforms, and that's where it comes from. But yeah, the first few months are really, really tough. And people come into my show. Someone came in the other night and said to me, you know, how do you get these views and stuff? It is just time. It's
Time.
100% time. And like I said, you've got to be prepared to take those losses to start with.
And it's
then
consistency, isn't it? I mean, I would scream
yeah,
that always. I've
mm,
always said that every live. It is consistency.
yeah.
That is the key. It
I
really
think
is.
consistency does get overlooked, and I'd say that is one of the main things with Whatnot. If you go quiet for too long, it's
Yeah.
it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. And
And
you've
that's
got
not
to
saying you can't have a break, is it? But
no,
you're like doing things like maybe a little raid when you're on your break, or still being like present in the chat when you can be.
yeah,
I think that is the key, like just being there, being present in the community.
absolutely. I mean, some people can't do it all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like yourself, Kate, you suffer with your conditions. You know, you need to have those breaks, and that's really important as well, that you don't overdo it. But I just think sometimes go if you go too quiet for too long, that can be one of the main things on Whatnot that
Yeah.
will have an effect. But like you said, even popping up in people's chats saying hello, things like that. But it's not just that. When you're first starting as well, like I just said, you've got to have the stock to be able to do those shows. So it's tough. You kind of need to have a little bit of a safety net to start on Whatnot and make it work, or a shop on another platform or something
Yeah.
like that you're willing to work through.
Because
Yeah.
we like, for example, I know you said eBay. I only recently gave up selling on other platforms. That's quite a new thing for me because I couldn't keep up with it, because
Yeah.
it was like, how do you cherry pick? And that's what I found really difficult, because I want these great brands for my show
Yeah.
to draw you in. So how do I, so that's why I made that swap.
I'm the same. I look at things that I pick up, like yesterday, for example, pick up a Lululemon dress yesterday, really cool piece. And I think realistically, that needs to go. I mean, I don't use other platforms. I put maybe a couple of things a month on Vinted if I think they need to go on there. But like the Lululemon dress, I think to myself that should probably go on Vinted. But at the same time, I want to give it to you guys.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
you guys to have the excitement of having this wicked piece. So it's kind of, you've got to get you've got to even it out. Like you've got to think that's going to be beneficial to put in my Whatnot show because of going forward and followers and people seeing these great things. Or do you want to get that extra bit of money for it just as a one-off this time? But I most of the time I put everything into Whatnot because I just get too overexcited and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I want
Me
to give
too.
it to you guys. But yeah, I don't use eBay at all. I just, like I said, I'll put the
Just here.
odd thing on Vinted if I think really that needs to go on there.
Yeah.
But yeah. If you
Okay, so
source right, there should be room for everyone to. Yeah, exactly. It's all in the sourcing.
yeah, it is a cost of goods. As long as your cost of goods are low, you're fab.
And on that as well, just quickly, one thing that Connor taught me, and it's always stuck with me, is right at the beginning of my journey, because me and him started at the same time, and as you guys know, we're very good friends. So it's we bounce off each other. Like if he's got something he needs to speak about, he'll talk to me. If I've got something, I'll talk to him. So everyone go follow Connor. And but he said to me once, you've always got to think about what you put into that item. So you might but have, I don't know, a Burberry dress that you know is worth however much, but at the same time you might have only paid £3 for it.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's what you paid for it. So as long as you're making profit on that for your business, and that when you come from eBay, that's really hard to get into your head.
Definitely.
Because you're constantly looking on eBay at what it's worth, but actually it's what you put in. That's what you need to focus on.
That's a really good point.
It's really good, because that was a whole new way of thinking for me. Was what money you've got in that item.
Yeah.
That's what you focus on.
So we're going to go to Flipper Fletch, your king mod.
Yes.
Christy, you were so good at running your show solo through descriptions, chat, and maintaining momentum. Does that come naturally?
Oh, well, yeah, it must do, I suppose. I've never had anybody else to do it. I think I'm quite a peoply person. I've done a lot of years in retail as well, so that's
it helps.
A huge experience in retail. Yeah, so for those that don't know, I was a manager at Marks and Spencer's for 12 years. So I've done all the different parts of Marks and Spencer's, the cafes, the foods, the menswear, the ladieswear, the lingerie, the lot. But yeah, so I think that side of me, yes, I've definitely got that in me. But it's really tough doing it on your own, and you do look at these people that who are absolutely smashing it, and we love them to bits. You know, you've got Dead Stock, you've got the luxury pickers. There's two pickers. Dead Stock have got their little team. I think sometimes you forget that you're on your, like, you are literally, it's tough. I do every single bit of it myself. I don't have any help packing. I don't have anything.
So I mean, Jack takes my parcels for me, but that's it. You know, like he'll come and help me on the show, and I'm very grateful for that. But you're another level, like just on your own. But like it is hard when it's just you and you're trying to keep yourself motivated, keep yourself accountable. It is really difficult.
It is. It's really, yeah. Samaya does it on her own. It's really tough. And it's only when you've got to try and get a bit of routine, I think, and that's taken me a year to get that with Whatnot. Like last year was tough. It's only since Christmas before Christmas I thought to myself, I need to get these plans in place, and that's what I did, and that was involving the pre-listing, that was involving the sourcing, lots and lots of
making it like a work day routine, isn't it? I think is the key.
Yeah, I used to go out every morning, so I'd drop Harvey to school and I'd go to a different town, because obviously I do source pretty much all of my stock from charity shops. Sorry everyone, Harvey's just trying to get off the sofa under the ring light without taking the ring light with him. He's had enough, right?
He's done.
Gone.
He's done. Bye, Harv.
Thanks, Harv. Thanks for the moral support. Yeah. He's back to the Xbox. He's so I used to go out every morning. That was what I would do. I would drop Harvey to school, go one place, then the next day I'd go to a different place and come home. Now I try to do it all in one day. So I go round all of those towns, and that's only since Christmas. Everything's quite new to me this year. I've rejigged everything. So I try to go, so like yesterday, for example, I get in the car, I go to one place. None of them are far, do you know what I mean? But I spend the entire day in the car. And then that gets it all done in one day. Yeah. So that's that done. The rest of it I can be here sorting and packing, and it's hard to get a routine. It's taken me a year. So if you are just starting and you think it's a bit chaotic,
just stick with it.
Stick with it, and everything. You're always learning. it's learning, isn't
Yeah,
it? Really, it's
100%.
learning.
So Lucky Cat Pre-Loved said, how do you maintain the consistency, which we've just talked about? Really, it takes a lot of energy and discipline, I think. You have to do a lot of planning, but like you said, you've planned ahead, haven't you? You've got your plans now.
Yeah, so the consistency, I do try. I've been trying to have 2 nights off a week for a year. That is still, I'm still working on that. I really want it and it will happen. I do recently I have found that the weekends work well for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I do tend to stick with my Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I love a Friday night. I think is a really
Yeah,
great time.
it's good, and Sundays are very good as well, I find. So the weekends I tend to work my socks off, which is tough actually because Harvey's off. So
Yeah,
it is tough. But we try to do something in the week instead. But yeah, it's the consistency's hard, but you've got to try and
just
keep
power
it.
through it.
Yeah.
So Daisy Grain has asked, have you found there's starting to be clicks taking over the platform? Um, we me and I'm probably going to speak for you here, Christy. Me and Christy are the queens of staying out of drama, and
Yeah.
we will always stick by that. We do not get involved. We're here as a business. At the end of the day, the bottom line is our business. We don't get involved in any of that nonsense.
No, yeah, totally agree with Kate. I have been one that I have never, there is clicks, there's things going on all the time. Beef, yes, Mac. there's there's a lot of beef around here. But one thing I will always do is stay completely out of it,
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, and the way I see it is, this is my job.
yeah,
So 5 years ago when I was at Marks and Spencer's, you wouldn't be saying certain
no,
things, you wouldn't be
exactly.
doing certain things. This for me is work. So I will always stay professional. Yes, I'll have a laugh with you guys,
Yeah,
and we do have a
Switzerland,
laugh, and
Kirsty. I was about to
great.
say that.
Yeah, someone said that in my show. They were like, "You're Switzerland," and I was like, "What are you on about? I don't know all these things, guys."
Thank you,
But
Lele,
yeah,
for the raid as well. I missed
yes,
that.
thanks, Lele. Thank you. But yeah, no, I don't. I don't like to get involved in any of it, guys. If I needed to say anything, I probably would. If something needed clearing up involving me. But yeah, no. Other than that, no, I'm not. I'm not interested. This is my job, and
Yeah, 100%.
this is what I do. So
But
it's not worth risking it.
no. Right, I'm just going back up through the chat. So if you can see me just staring into space, I'm not. I should have had my iPad with me. Do you find organising the stuff you want to put on Whatnot more beneficial than just randomly pulling various sizes from bags? That's Dell Fashion.
Yes, so that kind of I will always, so the way I organize myself is, at my unit, yes, I have rails which have like my branded and my stuff that would be for what's not to love, that sort of stuff I hang. But what I also have is big storage boxes, and they are all labeled with up and coming shows. So for example, I've got vintage knits tonight, so that those boxes, it's never one box, but that will say vintage knits and the date. So
Yeah.
that is how I organize my stuff. And then I might like be doing handbags, so I'll have handbags and I'll have the date that that show is scheduled for, and that'll be labeled on that box.
Well,
So
you're
all of the
much more
boxes.
organised than me.
So when I buy something, so like yesterday I picked up a couple of, I've got a death pile next to me at the moment, a couple of handbags here. They'll go into the handbag box, which has usually got a date, but I don't think I've got one in because I've just done one. But that will now have a date for when that handbag show is.
Yeah.
So I keep adding to those boxes, and then when I'm doing that show, I just bring them boxes home.
Yeah.
That's how I roll. So that works.
I feel like since I've changed to just high end and designer and maybe like a few picks for
Mm.
me, so like essentially your what not to love. Thank you, Chucks. Um, I I just cherry pick like 30 items, I think. And I say, okay, this is what I'm going to run today, and I make sure that I have like a wide range of sizes on
Yeah.
it. But I'm doing the first shoe show because after you, I've
Mm.
taken this from you. I've done the handbag, shoe, and accessory show, and I hate it. My house is like a shoe shop. Um, and I think because I don't have a unit and I'm in my house, it's
Shoes are
harder for
tough.
me.
Shoes
It's
are tough. They're hard work to run shoes, unless they're all brand new in their boxes. Well, I imagine that's tough. It's all tough, but when you've got all these pre-loved shoes, it's hard.
Okay, let's go back.
Thank you, Chungs. Thank you.
Thank you. We can see all these tips and stuff, guys. Thank you.
Yeah,
right, let's go back up.
Trying to keep up, guys.
Okay. We're going back up. What keeps happening is it keeps going back down to the beginning, so I'm like, no. Shell Cells says, have you had any periods of burnout since starting Whatnot? What have you done to get over it?
Yes, I have. And I think I know for a fact I'm not the only one. You know, that first year was tough, and I've had a couple of times where you literally just get to a point, and I'll be honest with you guys, you know, you kind of just sit there and you just cry, and you think, this is a lot. It's the hardest platform I've sold on. And I think now I'm, you know, everything's not plain sailing. It's pretty, like I said, you get to a point where you've got it under control, but there are still days where I think, oh my God, like I'm surrounded, you know, by clothes, and this is a lot, this is too much. But, and I'm sure people won't mind me saying, like, myself, Connor, we've all got to points where you've thought, this is a lot. Like, I need
I've
a break.
thrown the towel in a few times.
Yeah. And it really gets on top of you. And the other thing that's massive for me, which was just proof, was last year I lost a lot of weight because I just didn't have time to eat. And I'm not complaining now, you know, I've been trying to do it for years, so it's good in the long run. But at the time, you're like, and the people around you are like, are you okay? Like, you've like, people still say it to me now. They're like, God, you've lost so much weight. What are you doing? And I'm like, what not?
Yeah, it's a workout.
Literally, that is what I did. So that's just a sign, you know, it's hard graft. And there are many times I always go to my mum, obviously, but you know, and I'll say to her, Mum, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Like, there's been times where my unit's been like it. Your unit gets to a point where it's just absolutely crammed.
One way I think to get over it is community
hard
as well, isn't it? And like having each other. We've made friendships on this app, and like we're all going through the same thing. So like talking, like you've got Connor you're really close with, Claire and I are like sounding boards to each other all the time, Hetty and Flo. You've got to have that. I think camaraderie helps as well with the burnout, because you just share experiences. I'm sure Carrie won't mind me saying, she after a bad show, we text each other and we're like, oh, and you still get that horrible sinking feeling when a show goes bad. But yeah, it's just about working through it with each other.
I think as well, and one thing I will say is that there's been times where as some of you know, I did have a really bad situation with a buyer that got out of control. And like on that day, for example, I was due to do a show and I was in bits, and I pushed myself to still do that show. So I think if you're ever at a point where you're feeling really, really low and you're like, I don't want to do a show, do it. Like, that's one thing I've learned. There'll be some days where I'm really overwhelmed, and but I think to myself, no point cancelling a show, because actually they do make you feel better, and that is down to the people that are in here right now.
100%, yeah.
That it's social interaction, and I think there's been a lot of times where I've thought, oh, I can't do my show. I can't do it because I don't feel up to it. But actually you get on and you do it, and actually it really helps. So never let it put you off.
No. Beth Mayshut says, what are your opinions on pre-listing, help or hindrance? We're team pre-list, aren't we, I think?
It's something I've done recently. So I started it as a New Year's resolution, but it started in kind of like February. I was a bit delayed, but it's made a massive difference for me in terms of figures and things like that,
and interaction, I think, as well.
I wouldn't be able to do it without Fletch. Just want to shout that out. If you haven't got a mod in a pre-listing situation, that's tough, I think. But yeah, it's worth it. It's hard, and it's more hours to put in, but it's worth it in the long run.
Yeah. So Pat and Don 96 said trouble getting boxes. Order them. However, it's been a week. Any tips? I don't use boxes because I'm solely clothes. But if anybody can help Pat and Don, please do reach out to them.
In terms of boxes, if I need boxes, like when I've done shoe shows and stuff, pop into local places. Like I'm literally next door to a little post office convenience, and they will save me boxes.
Yeah.
If I go in and ask, they'll be like, "Yeah, we have a delivery on I know they have a delivery on a Thursday. If I need them, they'll keep them. They want to get rid of them."
Yeah, make that connection as well, and that kind of friendship with your local shops, I think, is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got lots of compliments. It's lovely.
Guys, I'm trying to read them.
Maz71 Maz says, you whipping out the measure and tape makes a difference. When you go the extra mile, people will buy. Eva 2024 says, I think you do better than any of the bigger shows, and I think it shows massively. So
thank you.
That's Eva. Really lovely. Samaya says the audience doesn't understand the behind the scenes, which is true.
Well, some of you do. I know some of you do,
Yeah.
I think people always say to me, you work so hard, it shows. So I appreciate that. It's nice when people can see that. I think there's it's a small minority that don't get it. Like, obviously, no, if you don't resell, you don't know. But most people, I think, can see the hard work that goes into it, and I appreciate that all the time.
Yeah. This comment, we've talked about this, and I want your opinion on this because I've spoken to Connor about this on our live as well. So Becky Theo says, I love to see raiding into up and coming sellers. I think that's so important to help an up and coming sellers be seen. I 100% agree, but we are also sellers that need viewers too. So sometimes it's not, for me, I feel like sometimes if I've had a bad show or I'm feeling I'm not hitting my targets, I'm going to raid into dead stock. I'm going to raid into luxury pickers to be visible. But when I can, I will raid into a smaller show. And I think it is important. Or I'll do a pop-up to raid into shows. I think that's a really nice thing to do as well. Like when I'm trying to help someone, I will do a little raid. But we are all trying to be seen on this app.
Yeah, it works both ways. So if we raid into somebody who's got 200-300 viewers, we're also gaining followers from that, because as you all know, if you raid into someone, they shout you out. Yeah. Everyone go follow, blah blah. So you have to, and sometimes you do, but yeah, at the same time, I think if you can even it,
that's what I mean. Like
that's the best way. Sometimes you do, sometimes you raid into others.
It's like, what I don't want to be thought of is that, oh, they're raiding into another bigger stream. It's not because I don't care about the little ones, it's because I've had to make a business decision. But I will always be present in people's shows. Like Daisy has just said thank you to popping in. I'll try and pop into everyone's first show, even if I just tip £1 and leave. I think it's about creating that community is really important.
Yeah, like you said, if you do the little pop-ups as well, and you're bringing that whole group of people, so if you sort of pop up, get your 40-50 people in even, and then raid them over, that's helping that person.
100%.
Sometimes it's nice just to do those.
So Sue and Maddie Bella said, how many do you aim to have in each show? I've talked about numbers before, and I get absolutely, it's angel numbers right now though, which is lovely. 111. I get obsessed with the numbers, and it will affect how I am on the stream. And I am completely honest about that, but I've started to realize that it's quality over quantity. And I think our ratio of buyers to watchers is quite high. Whereas, like, if there's like 400 in a stream and there's only like 100 buyers, we've got a lot more, I think. I don't know if you know what I mean. Do you agree, Christy? Or
no, I think that's something that is only just again taken a long time, but I'm now at a point, and this was brought up in one of my shows the other day, that I know if I've got the right, it's not about how many you've got there, it's about having the right people there. So for example, when I do my vintage shows, shout out my vintage ladies, they know who they are. If I've got my vintage ladies there, that's all I need. So like I did a vintage dresses show the other night, and I think I was sitting at like 30 odd people at one
Yeah.
point. But they're the people that want those dresses. They're not for everybody. It's a completely niche audience when you do vintage. So I now think that I try to I don't I try not to look at the numbers too much. It's
Yeah.
lovely to have those big numbers. It is, and it makes you feel really like, oh my God, this is good. But at the same time,
It's not the be all and end all,
it's
is it?
not the be all and end all. So as long as you've got the people there that want your stuff, um, you're fine. You're
Yeah.
fine.
So Denoa says, do you find that being a reseller, self-employment can be lonely? How do you curb working alone and loneliness? I think we've talked about community, making friends on the app. And if you ever want to find out about meetups, reseller meetups happen all the time. The people you need to speak to is Hetty and Flo and Al Raventa, because they know everything coming up. So if you want to go, there are meetups. There are meetups you can go to with resellers can come together, and even if you don't talk about work, you have a drink, you speak to them, it's nice. But for me, I think getting over the loneliness has been you lot, everyone here right now, you
It's
know.
definitely the best platform for reselling, for the social side of it. 100%. You know, if you're just doing eBay or vintage, yeah, that does get lonely.
Yeah.
Um, but I think Whatnot is, like I said earlier, if you're having a bad day and you go on and do a stream, you come away feeling a lot better because you've had that social interaction. It's lovely. And yes, you do have to keep you have to keep your business head on. Even though, you know, you guys, I do see most of you as friends. You know, you've all supported me. I appreciate you all. But yeah, it is a job, but it's such a lovely job on this app. It's not like a normal job. It's totally different. You're having a chat, you're having a laugh. So it's definitely the right platform if you're
Yeah.
worried about it getting lonely. But then I know people that do resell other things that, yeah, it's tough. It is tough. It is quiet.
Yeah. Jade has said that she feels embarrassed sometimes with only 2 to 3 uh people. If you had a real shop, sometimes you only have 2 to 3 people in all day, so you know, having them in that hour is can you imagine now 110 people in front of us? It would be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter about the numbers as long as you've got people in there who are interested, and you know, it is, you know,
Really
don't
try
feel
not,
embarrassed.
yeah, really try not to overthink those numbers. Like, it isn't the be all and end all. And yeah, I get it that we all look at them, and you can probably see us sellers looking at them, because our eyes go to that corner of the screen.
Yeah, yeah,
And
like,
that's what we're looking at, and it is what we're looking at all the time. But you know, it really isn't that important. Try to just forget. As long as you've
yeah,
got the right people, it's fine.
yeah, definitely. So Vinted Up has asked, you sell on eBay now? Like you said, you only put a few things on Vinted.
Nothing else.
um yeah, Lewis said from Shop with Bliss, if you don't follow Lewis, go and follow him. I love to just pop in and say hey to people. I like doing that as well, just be
Mm-hmm.
in there. um Hetty and Flo says, also sometimes there is a consideration on where your audience will suit, so there is a more chance they follow and make a purchase. 100%. Chung said we should cover up the numbers on the screen.
Yeah, we should put a little post-it note there. That would be a good idea, actually.
Eva says, I've noticed that with you two guys, if there's a seller that is new and you're running stuff that's not quite your thing, you will tip. Yeah, so Daisy Green said, I had a show with 5 people get more sales than that with 50.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Yeah, it's
um,
delightful.
okay.
I don't know how you're keeping up with this, Kate.
I don't know either at this point. This one is the most questions we've had. So
Is
you
it? Oh,
being
God.
nervous. She thought no one would turn up, guys.
I did. I was like, oh my God, they're going to think it's really boring.
Um,
So I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you. Praise
so
the community.
uh reselling Polly, please go follow Sam. Um, do you think themed shows are better?
Oh, this is a really tough question for me because I've done a year of themed shows, and it's only now that yes, I do. I do is probably the ultimate answer. But I've scaled down on the themes. So, like I said last year, you saw me doing toys,
Croc
throws,
charms.
oodies, croc charms. I got a bit carried away and thought, yeah, whatever I can find, I'll sell it. No, that's not the way forward for me anyway. Doors, no big doors. Don't worry, guys, that's a private thing. Me and that about doors. But yeah, no, it's even now, like I said earlier, I always look at bric-a-brac in charity shops and things like that. But I
You've got
would,
that temptation, haven't you? Because I used to be a homeware seller, and I
yes,
can't not go past it. I've got to look at it, even if I've got no, like, and I see it
yeah,
and I think, Kate, come on, what are you gonna do with that? Because
I
I've
know.
got downstairs in my storage, I've got like 20 boxes of mid-century modern homeware, like,
I
which
know.
I need to do, but I hate posting homeware.
I know, that's the thing, and I'm very careful of that now as well. You get to a point as well. The boots, for example, the postage, the toys, the postage.
Yeah,
Ooh. But no, I do think they do work. So in terms of smaller categories, so like my vintage is totally different to my what's not to love stuff and my
yeah,
high end branded, because it's two completely different audiences. And I did
yeah.
decide this year I would streamline it, which is what I've done. However, I didn't lose the vintage,
No,
because I
you
think
like doing
the
that, don't you?
vintage, yeah, it's a lovely thing to sell and it's really nice to pick up. So,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, the vintage and high end are the two that you will now see me focusing on. But things like shoes, accessories, they'll all be dropped into other
dropped
shows.
in.
There'll be no
I'm
show.
I'm gonna see how this shoe and accessory show go. But I can't see me doing a completely themed shoe show again because I'm I hate them
Hard.
right now. I hate them. Um, but yeah. Somebody said Super Dance Bargain said I'm thinking of starting but very unsure to start just in case I fail. Just do it. Honestly. I know it sounds easier said than done, but when you realise that you're talking to your phone and
Mm.
you are in control. If you want to leave and you're uncomfortable, end the stream. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it is. I don't underestimate how blooming
Yeah,
scary it is.
scary.
I was physically shaking when I did my first show. And now it's funny because my dad said to me the other day, because I was there puppy sitting. So I do some shows there, as you guys know. I move into my parents when they go on holiday. And my dad was there and he said to me, do you get nervous? And I was like, no, you don't. You just press start
You just
and
press.
you're
It
there.
gets to the
I
point,
have
doesn't it, where it's
no
just like,
nerves. Yeah, it's just normal now. But I think when you do something like the charity streams, or I did that massive Christmas show before Christmas, which was huge, and I had my parents here helping, things like that. Yeah, you've put so much into them that you do get
yeah,
nervous. But every day,
cringe.
you just press go. But the first one, yes, and I do understand and I do relate completely. It is terrifying,
Yeah,
like terrifying. What I would say is try and have someone there, like have a friend just be
yeah,
sat there. It doesn't have to be somebody that does reselling or anything. Just have someone there. That's quite
yeah.
nice, I think. If you're going to do a first one.
So, just to touch on that, Will Natasha is like, we say real friend, like
Yes.
in person friend. She's my best friend, like outside of this. And she did her first show the other day and she was petrified. I know she won't mind me saying, but as she settled into it, she's fine and she's already booked another show in for today.
Yeah.
So like
Once you've done the first one, it's
it's a
like it's
bug.
always a little bit addictive. You're like, oh, I
Yeah.
want to do it again.
So what's your favourite and least favourite brands to sell? Shell wants to know.
Oh, blimey. Favorite brands for me are the classics to sell. To sell, my personal favorite brand obviously is Adenola. The My favorite brands to sell are your classic ones like your toast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've had a lot of Peruvian connection recently, which is lovely to find. Don't get it very often. Uh, it's just the ones that
Yeah.
aren't about a lot. Like
Mine
the
is
harder to
finding
find.
those really high end brands that
I love
is so like niche. I love it.
Yeah, I said it, I was talking about it last night. I love Indigo Moon.
Yeah.
That's something that I love to find. I love a bit of Quacker Factory.
I love Quacker
Love
Factory.
a bit of
I love the
Quacker
ducks.
Factory. Those sorts of things, they are amazing to find. Yeah, my least favorite, I won't go into it too much because but I try not to sell too many online fast fashion brands because I'm not I don't like how I don't like where they come from.
No, the ethics of it. No.
That's It's the ethics, yeah. And don't get me wrong, you get some lovely things, and quite often I'll be in the charity shop and I'll think, wow, that's nice, and then I'll look at the tag and I'll think, oh my god, it's from Shein. But I
I
don't.
get duped by it
It's a
all the time.
principle thing for me. It's a principle thing for me. We
Yeah.
don't want them in circulation. We don't
And
want poor people having to make them. And
I appreciate like selling them on is saving them from landfill. I get that completely. I
yeah,
do. But it's just not something I will do.
no, I'm the same. I won't. Just because I have in the past. It's only really recently I've seen these awful things, like
Yeah.
these viral things of how they're made, where they're made, and oh my god, it's put me off forever. Won't do it anymore.
Yeah. Somebody asked what do we do with items that don't sell. I did miss that one. We rerun it another day because you'll be very surprised that it won't go one day and then it'll fly the next day.
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
crazy.
Um,
Um
and
okay.
if you do have things that don't go, you do have to draw a line somewhere. I think if you've run it like 5 times and it hasn't
Yeah.
gone, I just take it to clothing banks.
Yeah, you
The
do have to,
way,
yeah.
drive up, post it, it's gone. Yes, Fletch.
On your first show, how long do you wait for people to come into the live before you start selling? Well, at the
Well,
minute,
at the
we're
moment,
waiting a
yeah,
minute before anyone comes in. I hate it.
there's a delay at the moment with Whatnot. I'm not sure why, but it's very, very slow. Like, because we still get, so when we go live, we still get our notification at the top to say, like, I'll go live, and then it'll come up CHJ is live. So, but that's taking like 30 seconds. And we're kind of just stood there like, this is awkward. No one's coming.
Twice
But
Bletchley said her favourite thing is if she sneaks in that time to see me, like,
yeah, I know.
because I don't know what to do
You
with
don't know what to
myself.
do.
I'm like,
You don't know what to do. You just feel really awkward. And I like start a giveaway, and then I'm like, hi guys. Yeah, no one here.
how do you manage with lower, Leopard Print Lily says, how do you manage with lower selling costs compared to other platforms?
So again, it comes back down to what I said earlier about what you put in. So it's all about your purchase cost. And yes, it's tough to find the stuff out there, but once you've done a few shows and you get a bit of a following behind you, it does become easier. And you get to a point where you kind of know. So like if I go out, I source all my stuff pretty much from charity shops. And like I know there's a lot of people that will say, oh, charity shops are really expensive now, blah blah blah. But they have definitely gone up. But you're not looking for, when I do my charity shopping, I'm looking for what they've missed.
Yeah, 100%.
That is what I'm
That's
looking
exactly what I was
for.
going to say.
So yes, they might have like, I don't know, crazy. They might have Michael Kors sat there for a ridiculous price because most people know that brand, but they might have something like Oshka or
Yeah.
Peruvian Connection that is not a known brand that they've just stuck £3 on.
Yeah, like I bought the other day a Libertine dress for £1 in a charity shop because they don't know what it is.
No,
Save the Queen £1 because they miss it. And I will still buy some prices that are a bit higher if I feel like it's the right item, but you just got it. The cost of goods is important. And I think if you set your own boundaries of this is what I'm happy to pay, and there's no one telling you have to start it at £1. And I know you do pound starts and they work for you. I do £3 starts because I feel that covers me. At least it will even out. But I used to do higher, that. I used to start at like 10 or 15. But I think, I don't know. I think £1 starts are dangerous if you don't have the following. I think that's one thing I would say. If you've got the following, you can do £1 starts. If you don't, at the beginning, don't do it.
A prime example last night, and I know they won't mind me saying, but I had a prime example last night that something sold for less, and then somebody said to me in the chat, do you mind me asking what you paid for it? And I told them, and then next thing, a couple of my lovely people were tipping me, like, to make up, you know, that is Whatnot. That is the risk we take. And if you're not prepared for that, like,
don't do it.
Don't do it. I wouldn't stand and say, you know, oh my god, guys, I can't believe that's just gone, you know, because I paid such and such. I don't think that's the right way to go about it.
No, I
Just,
always say congratulations, what a
yeah, what a
steal. Like,
bargain.
what
What
a
a bargain.
bargain.
And inside you might be dying. You're
Yeah,
like, oh my god, I've just lost a tenner. But
yeah.
at the same time, that is what it swings and roundabouts. You might have made that back on something else.
100%. Abe Babe said that earlier in the stream. He said, like, it's a
Yeah.
balance, isn't it, over everything?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think another example is last night I had a beautiful kimono from Next. And like some of you were just saying, I picked that up in a charity shop and it was Next. But
Yeah,
because it was so beautiful, it didn't matter. So you do get to know what people want. And then you get to a point as well where sometimes the label doesn't matter. If it's a
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful piece, the label doesn't always matter.
You know, I always bring up, remember the guy who came in to my stream and was like, oh, M&S, this is supposed to be a high-end show.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's 100% cashmere.
Yeah.
It's excellent condition, and look at the style of it. It's not all
Yeah.
down to labels. I know
It's
I
not.
mainly sell high-end and designer, but like, yeah, the quality is great.
Yeah, it's not down to labels. And I don't, like, myself, yeah, I do love a bit of Adenola, don't get me wrong, and I do live in Adenola leggings and sweatshirts, but other than that, like, what I wear to day to day, you know, I've got loads of M&S in my wardrobe.
Yeah,
I've got loads of Next. I'm not fussy
Zara.
in terms of labels. Like, we sell them all,
Yeah,
but you know, I go by what I like the look of,
yeah,
not what name is on it. So yeah, labels don't matter
yeah,
all the time.
100%. All right, have we got any? Oh, we'll go for another like 5 minutes. Has anyone got Mac? Um,
Typical Mac.
Oh, so Rara Resale saying that she's got stock from house clearance as well. It's I think that's a risk, and if it pays off, it's amazing. I have a house clearance company I used to buy from, but I had to stop because it was just not worth it for me. And for me, because I don't have a unit, I can't have that amount of stuff and have to like deal with that.
I
So for
think
me, it's just like hand picking
that's
is that.
really key as well in my journey, is that yes, you buy, you try buying bundles, you try buying wholesale, all these sorts of things, and with the good you also get the bad, and sometimes that bad is more than what's good in those sorts of things. And I think I've learned that the hand picking for me, the charity shops, is the best,
Yeah.
is the best way. I got to a point where I got my unit last year and I bought out a shop that was closing down, and I ended up with so much stuff, and none of it was what I wanted to sell.
Yeah.
So I think yes, it's always quality over quantity, and yes, pay a little bit more to get things hand picked. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, there are some wholesalers out there that are brilliant.
Oh
And
yeah, but like Connor said, do your research and find that out.
yeah, you really do have to, because otherwise you just end up with a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that you
Um
don't want.
so Daisy Gray said it supports good charities too. I worked out how much I spent in charity shops last
Mm,
year, and the amount is like in the like tens of thousands how much we spend on charity
yeah,
shops per year.
exactly.
Um and without resellers, they wouldn't be able to keep going. And that's the truth. So I am so Charlie says, I've just bought a storage unit's worth of stock. Who needs a spare room? Lucky I have other space. Sue Jane says, will you ever get any more Lucy and Yak?
Uh, I knew this question would come up. So many people ask me this. Lucy and Yak was amazing when I could get it. it sadly is not as easy to get hold of now. I would love to do more Lucy and Yak, and I am always looking for it. It's just a struggle to get at the right price. So I will try.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
Smith2436 says, what key advice would you give a first-time seller, and also do you pay for giveaways postage? We've talked about giveaways quite a lot on this. If you go back to the first one, my one, I talk about it quite a lot when I interviewed myself. And I have a video on my Instagram which shows you how to put it as a Pokemon card, so you pay less postage, but you do pay postage. And I think you should always bear that in mind with giveaways. It's lovely. I'm terrible. Like, I know Lucera will be watching this now going, because I'm terrible. I panic and I run too many giveaways, and it does cost me quite dearly. And I know that I'm starting now to not do that. And I find, I don't know if you agree, Christy, I find the worst feedback I get is when it's free.
Yeah.
And I don't.
It's true. It's hard because you do, whatever happens, the giveaways cost you. But at the same time, and do you know what I mean? Nobody's expecting you to run all those like, there might be, but they're not the right people. So don't feel like you have to run giveaways if you're not making that the profit in your shows. Don't run a giveaway.
No, don't do it.
Keep your business head on and think, yeah, actually I'd love to, we all love to give back to you guys watching, but if you can't do it, you can't do it. It is a cost. It's a business cost.
And perhaps maybe look at doing, for your first few shows, I'll pop something extra in your package or something, like, so then you're not paying, or just do a buyer's appreciation, then you don't pay
buyers. That. But yeah, I think there's a lot around. Giveaways have become such a massive thing on this app right from the get-go, and yes, they're lovely, and oh my god, I've won some beautiful things in giveaways, and you appreciate them. Like Kate said, there are some people that don't appreciate them as much, and you'd be surprised how much feedback we get about free giveaways, but that's another story. But yeah, if you're selling, don't feel like you have to do that.
No pressure.
I think that's really important, because there's a huge expectation that giveaways will just run one after the other, but they do cost, what, like, when you think about, even if you're doing a bag of sweets, your bag of sweets is like 150 now. You can't get any sweets for £1 these days, and then you've got, what, 270 postage. So each of them giveaways is costing that seller £4, and if they're only making a little bit in that show, it just eats away their profit.
Yeah, 100%.
People need to realise that a bit more.
So Mark has asked, how is packing done after show? Does Whatnot collate orders for you? Yeah, it's really easy. You press print all and then just do them.
It's very easy, the packing.
Very easy.
It can be a bit daunting the first one when you get all your slips and everything, but once you've done it a few times, it's easy peasy.
Yeah. So what Sam has said, the selling rules say no fakes, but I've seen people selling stuff that can't be genuine. What happens if you do that? It's illegal.
It's illegal to sell fakes anywhere.
Yeah, that like Vint makes Kerner said, is it full stop. And I have been I'm completely honest with you guys if I'm not sure, and I say, like, if there's any issue, let me know and we will refund it. Like Christy, we'll talk about the hoodie. The Dior hoodie was a bloody good fake, but it was fake. And we found out right at the end, and I refunded you immediately.
Gutting, wasn't it? It was so good. But
it was such a good hoodie, but I refunded you immediately, and then it's sorted. And mistakes happen, but if you see people doing fakes, you can report them, and I think that's the best way really to do that. You just click the 3 buttons and click report.
Yeah,
but I think just remember it is illegal.
Yeah, but and at the same time, like Kate said, we do miss stuff. We're only human, you know, and that I've missed things in the past, and someone's messaged me and said, oh, I'm sorry, but this isn't real. And you think, oh my god, I really thought it was. Like, it doesn't happen often, but it has happened to me, and I've thought, but there's lots of ways out there you can get things authenticated, especially shout out to the luxury pickers.
Yeah, big shout out to them.
So helpful. If anybody ever needs anything, just checking, you just ping them over a photo, and they are great. They know their stuff.
Yeah, they've got great knowledge. Chungs has said, is the cheapest postage for giveaways £2.70? Sorry to plug my Instagram, but if you pop over to my Instagram, Chungs, which is the same name but vintage on the end, I need to change that to pre-loved now. I've done a video on how to make it cheaper, so a little cheat there to do that. Yeah, and Eva said CHJ would never run a fake. No, you would not. If you, like we said, we've made mistakes, but yeah. So Charlotte says I focus on getting a really good buyers rather than giveys. So Laura says, do you wholesale source your shipping bags? Yes, I do, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to keep up with it.
If anybody ever wants to know things like that, drop me a message. You know,
yeah,
share the link I use. I think after a lot of looking around that I found quite a good price for mine. And I always use the same. So yeah, if anybody ever needs anything like that, just ask.
I've got a good connection with the post office opposite me because I'm very lucky. He buys in and then I buy what they get. So he buys me an order and then I pay him for that order then. I find the more giveaways, this is Twice Bletchley, I find the more giveaways you do later in the show, the more people have bought and already paid postage, so you don't pay for those ones. That's true. So Eva says she doesn't care about the giveaways. I care about buying good stuff. I'm quite happy to sit in with no giveaways as long as it's good. Beth Mayshat says, have you had bad experience with customers? How do you handle it? You touched on that earlier.
Yes, I've been very fortunate that I haven't had anything crazy. I did have one recently that was really tough, and just got completely out of hand, and it was minuscule, literally. Most people on here are very, very understanding, you know, and I will always sort anything out straight away. I always say to people, message me, it's not a problem, and I will. I don't argue things really unless
I'm always like, just get a refund. I'm always like that.
But I did have one recently that then moved over from this platform, then got put onto Facebook. It was hurtful, and I think people don't realize again that we're human. Like when that happened to me, I was like, I do this for me and my son. Do you know what I mean? What you're doing is mental over what you're doing it over, and they don't realize how much it really hurt me, that one. And yeah, it did get out of hand, but it got dealt with. It got dealt with by Facebook, it got dealt with by whatnot. Everybody was really helpful. But yeah, it happens, and it's horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible. I mean, I've had, Christy knows this, I've not voiced it, but I've had letters sent to my house from one buyer, which were aggressive and horrible, really, really horrible, all over a £6 item, which I had refunded. So yeah, it is hard. And I just ask, like, a shout out to some of the customers. Since I've been really poorly, it's been a bit longer for me to sort things out, but I've sorted them out in the end. And it's just about understanding we are human and we have other things going on. Smith says printer or thermal printer. I would not be anywhere without my label printer. I couldn't do it. I don't see how people can do it with a normal printer. I take my hat off to you, because
absolutely. But that's a game changer. Game changer. The label printer really, really is. If you haven't got one, definitely invest.
So Leopard Print Lily says, what's the return policy? Seeing people not accept them is completely down to the buyer, the seller. Sorry,
seller. Yeah,
it's up to the seller. If we accepted lots of cancellations all the time, I know some people say no cancellations. If it's a fair reason, I will do it, but you do get people try to enter. I'm sure where Dead Stock will back this up, they get people to enter the big giveaway. If they don't win it, then they'll ask
put
for
a cancellation in. So it's completely down to the seller. I don't. I think we spoke about this, Kate. We don't get that many.
No, I don't get that many.
Actually, so it's not ever been an issue for me. But
I do think, and I hate to be like, but we make sure our stuff is quality, and I think that's and we both do really, like, you do amazing ones, but we both do really good descriptions of things. We measure, we make sure that we are, like, if there's any flaws, we'll show it on the screen and make sure that we do that. And I think by doing that, it just creates this kind of trust between buyer and seller.
What Claire's just said there, I think that's why I always emphasize, if you have got issues, guys, message us.
Yeah, don't go straight.
Because if you go through Whatnot, that does affect us. So if you can message it and we can sort it out of Whatnot, that's always great, because you know, even if you, like, some people will message and just say, oh, I know your stuff's normally really good, but this one's got a hole in it and we've missed it. You know, if you message and we sort that, that's great. But if you do it through Whatnot, it's a mark against us. So please do message.
So Casey Louise says, where do people find all these products like cheap makeup? I will go by Connor's live interview with this. Research. That is the key. Reach out, talk to people. That is your research. Hang on. So
so much time has to go in for things to work, to be successful. And I think my whole life pretty much has revolved around reselling this past year since I started Whatnot. And it does. I mean, I can be sat watching the telly, but I'm still on my phone. Looking
you never stop
things.
You never stop thinking.
I get into bed, I'm looking for stuff. You've got to put the hours in to make it work. It's not easy.
So Daisy, yes, you can block people if you need to. So Wagpack says, how do you keep up with the pressure of high volume orders and trips to the post office? I find it so stressful to keep to that 1 day's shipping metric. I live opposite a post office. I'm very lucky. I don't have collection, but I just basically take them over in the morning and they do them for me. But I'm in a very good position, and we're thinking of moving soon, so I will be looking at a new kind of. Do you do collection, Christy?
No, I live next door. So I'm very proud of my 1 day shipping time, and I try to keep it. And a little while ago it went to 2, and I was like, oh my god, what's happened? But I am very fortunate that I live next door. But you can get your parcels collected. Royal Mail do it, and it is a free service, I believe.
Or just reach out to Whatnot as well. They will help you.
They'll put you onto it. So I'm very lucky that I have, like Kate said, a really good relationship with my post office next door, and it's very, very easy for me.
Okay, I'm just reading through because we're running out of time. Oh, Marcus, so message us. We'd rather sort it. What is the best thing to do if the seller isn't replying? Go straight to Whatnot. Then I would say,
in that respect,
Shop with Bliss says some sellers offer wholesale as well. Just ask. Just ask is the key. So Leopard Print Lily says, I actually love reselling. How lucky are we? We are very lucky, I think, to do this.
Who is your favourite buyer? What a question. I'm not answering that. Beth Mayshep says, who is your favourite buyer? Also, what somebody just said there, Curious Vintage, I think, just said about keeping the post office in business. They do get money for every parcel that we
Isn't it like off. 7p or something like that?
It's ridiculous. But I started using the post boxes for a while, which, by the way, didn't work for me. I don't know if it's just this area, but I did have a few go missing.
Yeah, my giveaways have all gone.
My post office guys said to me, they were like, no, we don't mind. You know, I'm dropping off every day, like up to 50 a day in there. And they're like, no, we don't mind, because they get money for every parcel. So yes, it does keep them in business, bless them.
So I will just cover some more. Somebody said, Shannon said, first time wanting to sell, what is the best time to do a show? I would say listen to all these interviews we've done with different sellers, and that should give you a little bit of advice. It's on my YouTube, which is Good Golly Miss Holley Pre-Loved, Holley with an E.
Do you think that you've got 2 different audiences as well? But I would say you've got like daytime audiences, which are like people that have got young children, things like that. So you know that works. But I would tend to say later on in the day is better, after work hours,
and not school pickup time.
Not school,
and Lolo says, when you go sourcing, do you have buyers in mind?
I saw
with pockets.
Yes,
you do end it like you said last night about Lauren. Save the Queen.
Oh, yeah,
You basically pick it up for her, like
I do.
Fletch and Sue.
Sea salt.
Yeah, sea salt.
Sea salt too. And Fletch loves Sweaty Betty.
Yeah.
Fletch loves a bit of Sweaty Betty. Yeah, it's funny.
Beth, what do we look for? For me, well, I think the Suzanne boots went down well, didn't they?
Everything I pick up, I've got somebody usually in mind, and I think they'll like that. T-shirts, I always think of Mac. Not sure why. He doesn't really buy them, but he likes to look at them. So I always think, oh yeah, Mac will like that T-shirt. You know, there's so many out there that Lauren alternative. Save the Queen, plus size sea salt. Lauren, I've got loads for you.
Toast.
I could keep going with Lauren.
Rab.
She's Rab. Oh my God, Rab. Lauren is Rab. Yes, it's funny. Yeah, Ambada. Ambada, 100%. If I see a gorgeous dress that has got Ambada
Christy,
all over it.
I have an item in Friday's show, tomorrow's show, which is you all over.
Me?
And yeah, it's Isabel Marant. And you know the hat? It's the jumper with the big logo on it.
Oh my God, I'll be there. I love Marant. Love it.
I saw it. I was like, oh, all right, let's get that.
Get that for Christy to buy.
Yeah, I know who that is, but I feel like that really helps as well, because you're doing that, and like that doesn't mean no one else can bid on it. That definitely, otherwise we wouldn't do it. But it's just about like creating a really nice following, isn't it? I think
it is, and that's what I mean. If you've got the right people in there, the numbers are irrelevant. It's all about the people you've got, and we all know as sellers, we get a list, guys. By the way, we can see who's spent the most money with us, who's bought the most, and it's in orders and money. So we can see who spent the most money, but we can also see who's made the most orders. So we can see all the time who is supporting us massively.
Yeah,
like, and
that's one really good thing about Whatnot, isn't it? That that it tells you all the analytics.
Yeah,
and they are in depth. They are in depth.
And it's lovely. So we know who's always there and who supports us massively. Hi, Connor. It just pops in, doesn't he? He does that. Just
how's the move gone, Connor? We pause as if we're listening to them as well. I think
he's all right. He's stressed, but he's good. I think he's got a lot of space to play with, haven't you, Connor?
Yeah.
A lot of space. He's just like, what can I put here? What can I put there? I'm like, just give it time.
Karen, I know the analytics are per show and per month and per year.
Yeah, you can change all the dates so we can see everything. You coming up, mister? Come and say hello then.
Oh, is it Bailey?
Oh, it's Big Bailey. Oh, yes.
Oh. And I love that Whatnot is like branching out into pets and stuff now as well.
Yeah, amazing. The pet sellers. Look, there we go. Bailey, look, there's a cat. See the cat? Can you see the cat?
Oh, look at his face.
There's a cat there. There is. Like cats, don't we?
Oh, bless him. But yeah, I think one thing as well, talking about pets, we share a lot of our life as well, Christy. I think like we welcome people. It's like welcoming people into your home, isn't it? And I think being personable is important. We summoned Wagpack. He appeared when Bailey was on the screen. But yeah, is there anything else, guys? Does anybody want to ask any questions before we go? Because we are an hour and 20 minutes. We did a long one today. And we love you a lot, Beth. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, it is the community, isn't it? This has been lovely.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Kate. This is amazing what you're doing. Like, it's so nice, and it really does bring a bit more social. It's social interaction, isn't it? It's lovely.
Oh yeah, what's your favourite colour, Christy?
God, oh no. Right, so I was gonna say black, but then I realised that was awful. But I do wear a lot of black, but I'm definitely a beige and brown person, okay, and cream.
How tall are you, Christy?
How tall am I? 5'5".
If you were a biscuit, what would you be and why?
Oh my God, that one, Beth. These are the ones I was dreading. I'd probably be a milk chocolate digestive.
That's
just classic,
boring.
isn't it? Like, you can't go wrong.
I'd be a malted milk chocolate one, I think.
Yeah,
You
I
know my
just,
whole thing with milk.
yeah. Oh, I just love a biscuit. Love a biscuit.
um Years worth of concealer. Those aren't colours.
Those aren't colours. Yeah, but look around me. Everything's beige and brown and black and white.
Yeah.
I'm not very adventurous in terms of colour, guys. I love a bit of pink. Who doesn't? My
Yeah.
kitchen's all pink. Yeah.
So, good question. When is our next shows? So, when is your next show, Christy?
My next show is tonight, and I'll be doing vintage knitwear tonight.
Brilliant. And mine's tomorrow at 7. And I'm doing a really massive high-end designer with Fendi shoes.
Fendi shoes and Marant jumpers.
Yeah, we've got some
yeah.
amazing pieces. Oh, that's a nice question, Lauren. Will you be doing any more joint shows with Nay when she's back?
So Nay does plan to come back, and I probably will give her a hand doing that. But yeah, it's she'll be back at some point. So yeah, hopefully.
Shall.
Our units are at the same place now, mine and Nay's. We're literally just round the corner.
Oh, lovely.
So that's good.
I hope she's doing well.
Liz.
But yes, guys, so please give us both a follow. Thank you for the questions. What we will do as well, I'll put this on YouTube tomorrow. Chelsea's is going up today. That's a very good question, Mark. No, we don't.
No, I don't.
And it's awful for me, especially because so I have to come back to work when I'm really poorly because we have no other option. But yeah, so I think this one was really great. But go back through. I'll be uploading Chelsea's today. Christie's will be tomorrow. So there's about 4 shows for you to catch up on. If you're new to this, it's Good Golly Miss Holley Pre-Loved on YouTube. Thank you for all the tips and the support, guys.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and thank you, Kate.
Raymond, we have talked about that already, and we've both said no. Like no judging, just not for us. We stick by what we stand for. But thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
I've loved this. Let's do a raid.
Do a raid. Thank you very much, everyone.
Should we raid? We'll raid into this. This is going to seem like nepotism, but it's not. We're going to raid over to Tash. So her second show.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we'll go over there. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.